Marqos, Mark chapter 12. And he began to speak to them in parables. A man planted a vineyard and put a hedge around it and dug a vat for the winepress and built a watchtower and let it out to farmers and went away. And in due season he sent a servant to the farmers to receive some of the fruit of the vineyard from the farmers. And they seized and beat him and sent away empty-handed. And again he sent them another servant, and throwing stones they wounded him in the head, and having insulted sent him away. And again he sent another, and they killed him, and many others, beating some and killing some. He had one more son, his beloved. He sent him last of all, saying, They shall respect my son. But those farmers said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and the inheritance shall be ours. So they took and killed him and threw him out of the vineyard. What then shall the owner of the vineyard do? He shall come and destroy the farmers and give the vineyard to others. Have you not read this scripture? The stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is from Yahuah, and it is marvelous in our eyes. And they were seeking to seize him, but feared the crowd, for they knew he had spoken the parable against them. And leaving him, they went away. And they sent to him some of the Pharisees and the Herodians to catch him in a word. And when they came, they said to him, Teacher, we know that you are true, and it does not concern you about anyone, for you are not partial to any, but teach the way of Elohim in truth. Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay or should we not pay? And he, knowing their hypocrisy, said to them, Why do you try me? Bring me a silver piece to look at. And they brought it, and he said to them, Whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said to him, Caesar's. So Yahusha said to them, Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to Elohim what is Elohim's. And they marveled at him. And Sadducees, who say there is no resurrection, came to him, and they asked him, saying, Teacher, Moshe wrote to us that if a brother of anyone dies and leaves his wife behind and leaves no children, his brother should take his wife and raise up offspring for his brother. There were 7 brothers, and the first took a wife and died, leaving no offspring. And the second took her, and he died, leaving behind no offspring. And the third likewise. And the 7 left no offspring. Last of all, the woman died too. In the resurrection then, when they rise, whose wife shall she be? For 7 had her as wife. And Yahusha answering said to them, Is this not why you go astray? Because you do not know the scriptures nor the power of Elohim. For when they rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as messengers in the Shemaim. And concerning the dead, that they rise, have you not read in the book of Moshe at the bush how Elohim spoke to him, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov? He is not the Elohim of the dead, but Elohim of the living. You then go greatly astray. And one of the scribes coming near, hearing them reasoning together, knowing that he had answered them well, asked him, Which is the first command of all? And Yahshua answered him, The first of all the commands is, Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuah, our Elohim, Yahuah is one. And you shall love Yahuah, your Elohim, with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. This is the first command. And the second, like it, is this, You shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other command greater than these. And the scribe said to him, Well said, teacher, you have spoken the truth, for there is one Elohim, and there is no other besides him. and to love him with all the heart and with all the understanding and with all the being and with all the strength, and to love one's neighbor as oneself is more than all the burnt offerings and slaughter offerings. And when Yahushua saw that he answered wisely, he said to him, You are not far from the reign of Elohim. And after that, no one dared to question him. And Yahushua responding said, while teaching in the Mikdash, How is it that the scribes say that Hamashiach is the bane of David? David himself said by the Ruah HaKodesh, Yahweh said to Adonai, Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. David himself calls him Adonai. In what way then is he his bane? And the large crowd heard him gladly, and in his teaching he was saying to them, Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and greetings in the marketplaces and the best seats in the congregations and the best places at feasts, who are devouring widows' houses and for a show make long prayers. These shall receive greater judgment. And sitting opposite the treasury, he saw how the people put copper into the treasury, and many rich ones put in much. And a poor widow came and threw in 2 small coins, which amount to a quarter. And calling near his Talmudim, he said to them, Truly, I say to you that this poor widow has put in more than all those putting into the treasury. For they all put in out of their excess, but she out of her poverty put in all that she had, her entire livelihood. Marqos, Mark, chapter 13. And as he went out of the Mikdash, one of his Talmudim said to him, Teacher, see what stones and what buildings. And Yahushua answering said to him, Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone shall be left upon another at all, which shall not be thrown down. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the Mikdash, Kepha and Yaakov and Yochanan and Andrew asked him separately, Say to us, when shall these be, and what shall be the sign when all this is going to be accomplished? And Yahushua began to say to them, Take heed that no one leads you astray, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am he, and they shall lead many astray. And when you hear of fightings and reports of fightings, do not be troubled. It has to take place, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and reign against reign, and there shall be earthquakes in various places, and there shall be scarcities of food and disturbances. These are the beginnings of birth pains. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils and to congregations. You shall be beaten, and you shall be brought before rulers and sovereigns for my sake, for a witness to them. And the good news has to be proclaimed first to all the nations. And when they lead you away and deliver you up, do not worry beforehand what you are to say, but whatever is given you in that hour, speak that, for it is not you who are speaking, but the Ruah HaKodesh. And brother shall deliver up brother to death, and a father his child, and children shall rise up against parents and shall put them to death. And you shall be hated by all because of my name. But he who shall have endured to the end, he shall be saved. And when you see the abomination that lays waste, spoken of by Daniel the Navi, put up where it should not be, he who reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Yehudah flee to the mountains, and he who is on the housetop, let him not go down into the house, nor come in to take whatever out of his house. And he who is in the field, let him not go back to get his cloak. And woe to those who are pregnant and to those nursing in those days. And pray that your flight does not take place in winter, for in those days there shall be distress, such as has not been from the beginning of creation, which Elohim created until this time, nor ever shall be. And if the Adon had not shortened those days, no flesh would have been saved. But because of the chosen ones whom he chose, he shortened the days. And if anyone then says to you, "Look, here is Hamashiach," or "Look there," do not believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets shall rise and show signs and wonders to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones. And you take heed. See, I have forewarned you of it all. But in those days, after that distress, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars of the Shamayim shall fall, and the powers in the Shamayim shall be shaken. And then they shall see the bane of Adon coming in the clouds with much power and esteem. And then he shall send his messengers and assemble his chosen ones from the four winds, from the farthest part of earth to the farthest part of the Shamayim. And learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that the summer is near. So you also, when you see these taking place, know that it is near at the door. Truly, I say to you, this generation shall by no means pass away till all this takes place. The Shamayim and the earth shall pass away, but my words shall by no means pass away. But concerning that day and the hour, no one knows, not even the messengers in the Shamayim, nor the bane, but only the Father. Take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. As a man going abroad, having left his house and given authority to his servants and to each his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Watch, therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, or at midnight, or at the crowing of the cock, or in the morning, lest, coming suddenly, he should find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch.